shin splints differential diagnosis. If you haven't heard the term differential diagnosis before, it means we have this list of all these things that could be the problem or the pathology. For example, medial or inside knee pain. There's a list of all these different things that can potentially cause it, whether it be the medial compartment, the cartilage, the meniscus. You get the idea. So there's all this list of different things that can cause it. This is a differential diagnosis list that I put together for shin pain. If somebody has lower leg or shin pain, this is the differential of all the different things that could be. So how I would do this in real life with a patient in the clinic is it would say, they'd come in and say shin pain. In my mind, I have all these things on that mental checklist. I start asking them questions. My questions are directed to help to take some of these off or maybe put them back on. And so the ones that I showed you here was location. Location alone can be really helpful in differentiating what's going on. What's the pathology? This coupled with the history, meaning subjective, me just asking questions. How long has it been going on? What causes it hurt? What makes it feel better, worse, and so on and so forth. If I can start to combine the history alone with this, that's how I get more out of it. That's how we learn. Because in order to treat it appropriately, we kind of have to have an idea of what it is that's going on. I want to talk now about more myofascial, meaning muscular, shin splints, meaning it's not truly the bone, but it is under this umbrella term of shin splints, but it's muscular in nature. So I want to show you guys how the number one cause, in my opinion, of this tibialis anterior dysfunction or shin splints is overstriding. Overstriding. I've talked before, overstriding is landing in such a way or leaning in such a way with your posture that it's slowing you down. Let me introduce to you the tibialis anterior. Tibialis anterior, there is a muscle in the front of your shin. Right now, you can put your hand on the front of your shin, just below your knee, and think of this like a drawbridge. This muscle, when it shortens, muscle has a starting point and an ending point. When you contract, the insertion draws near the origin. So from here, what happens is it does, with this motion, dorsiflexion. Think of that drawbridge. Look at this side view, because this is going to be important. Muscles act in two ways. They shorten and they lengthen. For example, my bicep. When I'm bringing my elbow up, my bicep is doing that. When I go down, it's not my tricep that's doing the work. My bicep is still active. It's actively lengthening. That's eccentric activation. It's a lot more stress. This is how we're going to overuse this muscle, this tibialis anterior, both concentrically, lifting it up more than we need to, and greater amount of eccentric control as it controls going down to the ground. So I want to break down that landing part again and look at the difference between overstriding and landing appropriately. I'm going to show when I say overstriding in this one, I'm going to be landing pretty far out in front of my center of mass, slowing me down. Watch what happens. See how I literally stop. As I'm falling forward, I land in such a way that's slowing me down. That distance, what's controlling the ball of the foot to the ground, is more active. So what we're going to see is greater amounts of this ankle active dorsiflexion, usually because we're leaning back. If I'm leaning back, I have to land out in front. And I'm pulling, I'm reaching my leg, and I continue that leg going forward. As I'm bringing my leg forward and overstriding, I'm holding that position. I'm holding that dorsiflexion and dorsiflexing it more than we need. Whether we're trying to clear the ground, whether we're just continuing that reaching with our leg, we're both using it to lift too much, too aggressively, and on that control down. Let's look at how it should be. So here I'm landing closer to underneath my body, and my momentum is going to keep going forward. You saw there was a decrease in the amount of dorsiflexion, so the muscle is working less. And there it is again, side by side. So the long and short of the quick fix for this, the quick fix is the posture can save you. Where you lean, leaning forward, hinging at the ankles, the hankle, it sets you up. If you lean your body forward, you don't have to lift your ankle as much for toe clearance. There's going to be less of a distance between the ball of your foot and the ground because of our lean, because of our posture. And you're going to be aligned in such a position with this ankle that all you can do is just land underneath you. You're not trying to make it happen sooner and land with your forefoot. You're not trying to slam down into the ground. You are just trying to grab the earth and roll it back.